Yeah, welcome to another edition of the TrapN podcast. I am your host, Mr. James Roberts, and I am here with you tonight, just coming to you, just having fun, and we just gonna be relaxing and kicking back. I have a guest coming in today, and she's actually in the background. Hello, Miss Yo Biz. How you doing? How you doing? We in the building. We're gonna jump right into this because I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want to do too much. I want to get our story out, and I want us to be able to sit down and just have a real good conversation about what we got going on today. So, uh, welcome to the TrapN podcast. I am your host, Mr. James Roberts, and we are here tonight, and we are talking to a young lady. She has a CDL, and we're going to be giving some advice, and she's going to be talking about what it took for her to get her CDL, what she had to go through. All of her trials and tribulations. Hello, Miss Yo Biz is in the building. Miss Yo Biz Transportation. We doing good tonight. We finna bring up Miss Mimi Yo Biz, and then after we talk to Miss Mimi, I'll probably drop the link and let you guys come up and ask us some questions if you have any. And then just go from there. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Miss Mimi so that we can get this thing started and just have a good time. Introducing Miss Myeshia Anderson.
Hey y'all.
Hello, 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 hello. So let me reset the podcast real quick before we get started.
All
Once
right.
I am your host, Mr. James Roberts, aka Solo Driver, and we are in the building tonight with Miss Myeshia Anderson. She is a new CDL holder. We're going to talk to her tonight, and we're going to get her background. We're going to get her story, and we're going to just she's going to communicate some things, her ups and downs about getting a CDL, where she is now with the CDL, where she wants to go with the CDL, and just what made her get in the trucking period. So, without any further ado, get it. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Evening, ma'am. Say that again.
I say I know I look a little different to you.
Oh no, you good. You straight. You look the same to me. Look the same to me. So let's just jump off. Give us your name, where you're from. Give us a little background on Myeshia Anderson.
All right. So, hi, my name is Myeshia Anderson. I am 43. I'm originally from Valdosta, Georgia. I actually did my CDL class in Tampa, Florida, where I lived at for 12 years. I just recently moved back home to Valdosta, Georgia, but I did CDL in Tampa, Florida. I am a mother of four, and I do have currently I have five beautiful grandkids, and I have one more on the way. And I also had been looking into trucking. I mean, I've been into it for about 11 years. I'm separated currently right now, but my current husband was in trucking for 12 years. So I used to go on the road with him probably for about, I'll say on and off 8 years, because the first couple of years I didn't go on and off. And I didn't get serious about CDL until recently. Back in 2022, I got serious like around the summertime.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. You said you have five kids, four kids,
Four
and
kids,
five
five.
grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
What made you just decide, okay, I'm finna jump head in first, feet first to the knees, all the way up to my neck in trucking? What made you make that decision? What
Well,
up? What up, highway regulator in the building? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I actually watched Clarissa Rankin video one day. I was scrolling through TikTok.
Shout out to Clarissa.
Right. Shout out to Clarissa. I was watching TikTok one day, and I was in Tennessee actually visiting my cousin. One of my little cousins was like, "Oh, you need to watch this girl on her videos. Like she would show you what they doing as far as women trucking." So I was like, "Yeah, I know, women truckers or whatever." I was like, "Well, let me look at the video." So I started watching the stories, and she went there explaining like how she started, like the money she was making in the industry. And then I went to watching the videos for her like pumping gas, doing stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I might need it to be a truck. I'm like, I'm 43 years old, so people gonna look at me like, oh, she older, she got grandkids. She don't need to be trying to be truck driving. So I said, well, no. After looking at more of her videos, I decided like within 24 to 48 hours, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna contact the people in my local area,
Mhm.
and I think I want to drive trucks. So that's really what inspired me to do it, just by watching videos on it.
Right. So when you once you made the decision to go forward and move forward with getting your CDL, what was the one of the first things you did?
Well, I reached out to see what programs was available, how long the course was gonna take, and like was there companies that was doing like tuition reimbursement currently or some type of sign-on bonus. I immediately started doing that, and I even went through the companies that Clarissa had mentioned in her videos, like Lane Finder and stuff, different ways to see what the industry was paying at that current time.
Okay. Okay. Then what did you have when you decided to move into it? Uh did you use like TikTok as a mentor, or did you lean on your your husband because you just separated, or
Correct.
did you lean on him for guidance? What did you do once you decided, okay, let me move forward? I've seen this, I've seen that. I've did my research on, what I need to do, where I can go, what schools or whatever. Who did you lean on when you decided to just get into it and start moving forward?
I
If
actually start,
anybody, if anybody.
I actually started watching TikTok videos. The first thing I typed in was female drivers in trucking. Started watching all the different female truckers that was doing, working for different companies. I even went through searching like by names just to see what the females was doing, and I didn't actually reach out to him and talk to him about it until I think I was enrolled in school. I told him what I was going to do. Yep.
So how receptive were the female truckers uh when you started asking questions and getting guidance off of TikTok? Because we know TikTok and Instagram can be a great tool, but
Hmm.
sometimes it gets kind of catty, right? Let's
Right.
be honest, it gets kind of
Yep.
catty. So how receptive were the ladies and the women drivers in the industry to assist you in helping you move forward?
They actually responded well. Like they gave me all the information I asked about. Um, a lot of them told me just get what I can, get all the training I could, ask plenty of questions. They told me that this wasn't for the weak. They did let me know that. They said because dominantly 30% of the industry is only made up of females right now. So they told me when you come in, you got to come in strong. And it wasn't for the weak, during that time. And they told me like right after COVID, it was actually easier for women to come into this industry. So they told me with me trying to come in at that current time was like the best time to come in.
Yeah. The only thing I could say about that time in COVID is that you couldn't really get in a truck the way you needed to. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? They had to be one on one. You couldn't have three or four students in one truck at one time. That's the only downfall about that.
right.
And so take us through your journey. Finding the school, getting in school, taking the tests, getting certified, doing all of the stuff that you needed to do. Talk to me as if you're telling me as a new driver what you went through as far as not really in detail, step by step, but step by step, as much as you can remember.
Okay. Well, what I did first of all, I knew that I needed to get my permits first because the other drivers, female drivers on TikTok, mentioned, make sure you get your permits first. So I immediately downloaded the CDL Prep app, which is the blue app on. I have an iPhone, so it was the blue app with the little silver wheel on it.
So I've been driving for 19 years. I haven't had to go through that. What are permits?
Oh,
What are
really?
what are permits?
So the permits, were doing the general knowledge, the air brakes, and what it was, general knowledge, air brakes. I can't even think what else the other ones were.
I'm just asking because I'm kind of confused. Is when you say they told you to get your permits.
Yeah, they told me to do the permit test first. So in order to get your permits in the state of Florida, you
Okay, in the state of Florida. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Florida, you had to do your general knowledge and air brakes and stuff. It was three different parts you had to take.
Before you could even take your test to get your CLP?
Uh huh.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Expound on that. I didn't know that because it may be somebody in Florida who may be thinking they could just jump in and go take their knowledge test, but you had to get permits before you can even take the CLP.
Right. You had to go to your local driver's license place and you had to do the permit tests. And in Florida, they were $10 each. If you failed more than twice in one day,
She just froze up, y'all. Y'all give her a minute. Go ahead. You still
it
there?
was permanent.
Okay.
They
She just somebody trying to get out of trying to call again. Go ahead.
they
I got
made you
go
come
ahead.
back. They made you come back the next day to finish where you left off. So you can only do. I think you only could take fail it like three times. So I actually had to retake my air brakes part of the permit the second day. So I took it
So
three
what?
times before.
See, these states kill me the way they make money. So what you saying to me is that on top of you having to be certified, because you have to have a certification per FMCSA to even go in and well, not even go in, but before you can move on to behind the wheel, you have to have your certification theory wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you said on top of that, Florida makes you get a permit before you can go in and start taking your knowledge test.
You got to do a permit first. The knowledge test is a part of the permit. So that's one of the ones you got to pass. You got to make sure you. I think they give you 50 questions. So you got to pass that first. After you pass general knowledge, then they let you go on, through your air brakes, and you do the other parts of the test. So it's three different parts that you have to pass in order for you to enroll. I mean, you can enroll in school, but the way it is in the state of Florida, if you don't have your permits that first week of school, you're gonna spend more time at DMV trying to pass the permits
Mhm.
and do all
I
that stuff.
understand that.
Yeah. So my first week in school, I signed up for Tampa Trucking. Shout out to Tampa Trucking because they were amazing. Um, I had my CDLs, permits. So I already had the permit card, like on my driver license. There
Mhm.
were students that was brand new, were never told that they needed to do the permits first. So they came into CDL school blinded. Like
Mhm.
they literally spent 3 or 4 days of class trying to get permits. Well, they made me watch videos the first week. So my first week was videos. Um, they kind of did it in a speed, I'll say a fast pack pace way
Mhm.
because they did 3 weeks. First week with videos,
Right.
permits.
Mhm.
Second week we did in the yard training where they taught us how to do our maneuvers.
Mhm.
In order for you to go to the third week where was you had to pass the maneuvers.
Right. Mhm.
Yep. So and in my school in Florida, they didn't. A lot of people say that they have to do parallel parking. Well, we only did straight back, offset, and alley dot.
Mhm.
Those were the three requirements
At the
um,
school.
at the school.
So what did you do at the DMV in Florida? Same
DMV.
thing.
I just did the permits. Nope, I didn't have to do. So in Florida, you test out some schools if they're certified. You test out at the
Yeah.
school. So
Okay.
somebody from
Okay.
the state
Yeah. Mhm.
come in the third week and they like you practice. The third week you're practicing maybe 2 or 3 days, and then they have like within order they get the number from the state and say, okay, at 8 o'clock tomorrow, you
Mhm.
test out with the state. Yep.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've we were going to do that, but I just thought it was a big headache. You know, we was going to do that with our academy, but we just decided not to. But that's good that they were already certified to test you guys out and get you guys, on into being a CDLA holder. That's cool.
Right.
Okay, you got your CDLA. Now
Got my.
now you excited. I'm finna go drive. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, before I went to do that, now after I got my CDL, I
Okay.
had to go do prints and go do everything because I wanted to make sure I had endorsements. Because if you go ahead and pay for your CDL, if you get your license and then you go back to do your endorsement, you're gonna pay double. So I was like, I had got knowledge from TikTok. They told me don't go in and get your CDLs and pay for it right then. Go ahead and get your endorsement. So the day that I went in to get my CDL and I had my certificate in my hand, I took the hazmat test and my tankers test and passed those. I did the doubles and triples and I failed it. So, I was like, you know what? I don't need that right now. I'm just, as long as I got my hazmat and tanker, that's the most important endorsements for me. So yeah, I did all the fingerprinting, did all that, got my CDL. I had to wait about 6 weeks. Within that time frame, I also went and got my TWIC card. State of Florida, we got ports everywhere.
Yeah,
When it got
very smart, very smart. You
right.
you've been
So
listening.
that was my truck. So I advise anybody to make sure you get your endorsements and get that TWIC card if you don't do nothing else.
So how long did it take you and how frustrating was it to find employment with you being a new CDL, or did the school do some job placement?
The school offered job placement, and I didn't want to go with none of the companies that they was referring us to at first,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, well, I had this thing where I'm gonna try to jump out in the water and I'm gonna try to do owner operator. It didn't take me long to figure out that I needed to crawl first instead of trying to walk first.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped out into the world, went and started looking at trucks and seeing, the requirements. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go try to be a company driver. So I got my CDL. I went to school in the end of September. I got my CDL in October. I was out of school for about, I'll say 8 weeks. So the end of November, I decided to sign on with a company, and I kept prolonging because I actually decided to move to Georgia in December. So I prolonged.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Signed on with a company, and I started training with them January the 4th, I believe. Yeah, January the 4th. And the company that I went with, they did tuition reimbursement through the school that I went through. So the
Mm.
school really told me like, well, you could have just signed up as soon as you got your CDLs, you could have went straight to orientation like 5 days later. But I wasn't
You weren't ready.
right. I wasn't ready then.
Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit to you finding employment.
Hmm.
You find a job. Tell us, you don't have to say the company, but tell us your experience with finding that company and uh getting into the driver's seat or into the trainee seat, as they will put it.
All right. So I found the company. Two of my friends that was in the same CDL school I went to, they actually was already doing their training. So they were coming out of training when I was going in. When I got to the school, we did 3 days of orientation, which involved, the paperwork, getting everything set up. And I requested to have a non-smoker female trainer, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do solo, meaning that I wanted to train with just the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this particular company get you there, and they tell you we're a team company. You have to have a second trainee in the truck with you. So it's the trainer and two trainees. So we end up, it was another girl going with me that out of my class that they convinced us to team up together. And I'm gonna say convinced because it was one of our plans.
Yeah,
And the trainer was a smoker. She was a female, but she smoked. That's a no-no. Secondhand smoke for me is a no-no.
that's crazy because at the end of the day, I do understand. That's why I've never team
Mm.
drove. I can't. I'm not gonna say I can, but I never had the desire to. And I was fortunate not to even have to go through those type of training nightmares that I've
Mm.
heard that people had to go through. So with you going ahead and them coercing you into doing it, what um what was your experience like once you got into the truck? All three of you guys got into the truck together. Three women in the truck. Woo. Go ahead.
Right. Go so well. So they told us we had to do 100 and I think 145 hours of training. We had to do 12-hour shifts or whatever. So they explained, this person do 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I was the one that was going to do 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I get in this truck because the girl that was the other trainee told us she couldn't see at night. Well, I don't see well at night, and the lady was like, from the point, she was like, well, you're gonna have to drive at some point at
Mhm.
darkness. So we get in the truck, and we get our first load, but we don't leave the yard until like 8 something in the afternoon. So I drove. Our first load was to Atlanta, pick up an empty. I drove. So it was nighttime, and I'm in this traffic. I'm doing my thing. Well, the clock stopped for me at 2:30, 3 o'clock because the next shift was for her.
Hmm.
She gets in the driver's side and I get in the back to go to sleep. The trainer sits on the passenger side. So no matter the only way the trainer could sleep is if
Hmm.
she fall asleep while you're driving.
Right. Right.
She couldn't get in the bunk unless we was trying to, do a layover or something. Well, anyway, the girl the first day, that drive at 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. was horrible on her. She couldn't hardly see. She going over lines. It's her first time under the wheel being trained. She's going over the lines. I'm in the back seat trying to sleep. I can't sleep. She's going around curves. She's in a freight liner, so you have the alarms going off saying she's going over the
Hmm.
line. She's going
Hmm.
into the lane. So we swerving, we going
Do, 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 do.
right. So she couldn't finish her clock. She drove in the dark. It got it got light, of course, that morning, but it was like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. She was tired from beating herself up from driving that little pit darkness.
Right.
So
Right.
it just totally messed our time up. So it came to the point where she pulled over and the lady was like, "We're not gonna be able to do 12-hour shifts." So we had to push our clocks and start doing 10-hour shifts. And it just messed us up from the whole entire time. So then they give us this load through Texas. We got all this high wind. It's my time to drive. Trainer don't have no sleep, so she's groggy. And this is my first time and I'm on the state highway. We was off the interstate at this point. We're on the state highway, which is I think it was 54 or something like that in Texas. We're going to California, so I drive
Y'all
all the
going
way.
to? Oh, wait. What state highway y'all was on going to California?
We came out of Fort Worth and we went down. We had to go down. We took a state highway. I think it was State Road 54. It was
Wow.
a
Why y'all just didn't get on? Not 20. Yeah, 20. 20 could have
I,
took y'all all the way to I-10.
listen. I asked her that too. So that was another thing. That was another flag for me because again, I reached out to people on TikTok that I knew that was drivers, and they was like, "Why are they sending y'all all over? Like, why are they doing you like this?" Like, first of all, it was high wind. I had 65, 70 mile wind hitting me, and I'm holding the steering wheel. I can't do nothing. I'm getting beat all up. So it's the shift change to the next day. It's nighttime now for her. We hit I-10. I make it to I think El Paso. We get to 10. She got to drive us into California. Well, it's nighttime. She can't see as good. So this was like the fourth or fifth day of our training on the road. Um, she literally was struggling. And it was a horrible sleep for me because I couldn't sleep. I could hear her and the trainer fussing. They going back and forth about her not being able to see. It's raining. We swerving. We doing everything. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do I email my fleet manager? Like, who do I complain to? Yep. So it was bad. And we get to Cali. They tell us when we get to Cali, we had to, go somewhere else. So my experience from there, we ran into snow. We had to either take, they told us to go through, they wanted us, we had a load from California to Kentucky. They tell us that they want us to go 40, but at the time 40 was shut down and it was Flagship, Arizona. It was shut
Oh,
down.
it get cold up there. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah.
Right. So then they sent us on a suicide mission and tell us, well, we're gonna send y'all I-80. So I'm like, I-80. I immediately went to texting friends and stuff, and I'm like, hey, I-80 is like at the top. So I gotta go through Wyoming, Utah. I'm like,
Hmm.
what am I doing? They was like, you a student, first of all. They was like, what company sends students on 80? They like, why they didn't send y'all I-10 back across and then let y'all jump up to 20 and go to Kentucky? Like, why send students on a suicide mission? They literally sent me, and I was driving. I made it to Utah. Got to Utah. I'm talking about it's ice everywhere. So they send students on suicide missions. The Remind you, the trainer still hadn't had a whole day of sleep yet. So it's time to switch. We get ready to switch out, and we was in Utah, a certain city in Utah. It was nighttime, so the girl, my other training, jumped in the driver's seat to drive. She didn't last 3 hours in Utah. It was that bad. Like I couldn't sleep. We were going off. We was going around curves, going up mountains, going down mountains, and I can hear her going like 70 miles per hour. And you can hear the trainer steady saying, they didn't want us to. This another thing. They didn't want us to use the Jake brake, so they made us stab brake. It's it's icy roads. We stab braking. She stab braking rather. And I'm in the back seat trying to sleep. So it was the worst experience ever. She drove for 3 hours in Utah, and then the next thing I know, we were pulling off the interstate because it was too bad.
So, so instead of the trainer allowing you guys to use your jack brake and use whatever sources you have, she would rather risk you guys' life
Hmm.
and stay within the guidelines instead of using her brain and saying this young lady is scared, so I'm gonna allow her to use the brakes that she have.
Couldn't
That's
use it.
crazy.
She said they
That-
wouldn't allow this company. They're not allowed to teach you the Jake brake till your third week on the road. But you got us on Interstate 80 where there's mountains.
See, I feel that. See nowadays they to me these companies get you in a position to where, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I need the experience. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I hate that you guys get in that position and they have that hanging over you guys' head in order to, like a carrot, you know what I mean, in front of
Hmm.
a horse or a mule, and you steady chasing that carrot, but you're chasing it at their standard, the way they want you to do it. So let's
Right.
move forward. What At the end of the day, are you still with that company?
So they haven't taken me off the roster, but the trainer, the trainee got out of the truck in Utah and flew back home. So that left me and the trainer in the truck together. Um, I basically was put in a position where we watched something happen, and they did a mandatory shutdown in Wyoming. We made it to Wyoming. They shut down the interstate for 46 hours. And the trainer kept telling me, "Well, we got to get this load to Kentucky." And I'm like, "I'm not worried about the load at this point. I'm worried about they saying in Cheyenne it's going to be 15 inches of snow tomorrow. We may have to drive up there in the climates being the way it is now." I'm like, "No, my safety come first." So I decided that it wasn't safe for me, and I left to go home. I flew home. I paid for a ticket from there to go to Denver and go to Florida to get home. So I get home, they still kept me as an employee. They have my driver number active and everything, but they're calling and texting and saying like, "Oh, you're supposed to come back." Well, remind you, I told them I would come back. After I told them, I was like, "Listen, I want a female trainer. I don't want them to smoke, and I'm willing to come back." So I actually came to Atlanta for the weekend, and I was supposed to drive to Tennessee in the morning to start back training. Well, I get an email yesterday. They said, "Well, you can come to Tennessee, but we no longer have a female trainer that can train you that's not a smoker. We have a male trainer, but he smokes." And I'm like, "That's not gonna work for me. Like, you're not gonna send me and put me in a position where I have to take a position that I'm not comfortable with." So I still work there, but I'm not going in the morning.
So, well, I mean, for me, I can see that this is not a company that puts their drivers first.
No, it's not.
So what have you began to kind of like check out some other things? Or you still gonna try to stick with them, or because like I just said, as you can tell, it's a company that clearly don't put
Mm-hmm.
y'all first.
Correct.
So have you reached out? Do you have any other irons in the fire? Are you going to move on something else? Because right now you're spending your resources to get to where they need you to be, and then they change the game on you,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a red flag for me. That's a major red flag for me. I don't know about you. So, but
It is.
what are your plans?
My plan, I've been here in Atlanta. I've been over the weekend. I've been looking on Lane Finder. Indeed, I've been reaching out to people on TikTok, which I've had a couple of people from TikTok reach out and say, "Hey, I got this gig going on. If you can find somebody to work with or train with." But my whole thing is most of the companies that I'm looking at, they want you to have 3 to 6 months experience.
Mhm.
And that's what I was trying to get. And of course, my license, it says I had my CDLs in October.
Mhm.
So they're like, well, you got on your CDL since October. I'm like, no, but I haven't been properly trained. I haven't got my training done
Mhm.
that you guys are requiring for me to work. So like I
Right.
can't, yeah.
Right.
But my son has a hot shot business that he's gonna start, which I were gonna do that. But then I said, I don't think I should do that. I think I should stick with semis first
Mhm.
and then maybe try the hot shot later. Like I want to drive.
Right. Well, I can tell you now. It is um it's. I'm gonna say that because the route I took was I worked for owner operators.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably the first 2 years of my career. You know what I'm saying? I worked for the first 2 years of my career. Then after that, I worked for a company. But it may be that that's the route you take in order to get that experience. You're gonna have to. I'm not gonna say have to, but you can jump out there and there will be drivers at that company that even in a week, you'll be able to see, oh, okay, I got it. I got it. Even if you do flatbed, if you do, especially if you do van, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
you may even say, okay, listen, let me drive regional. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
let me stay Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Atlanta. You know what I mean?
That's what I
And
want.
and you can pretty much get your experience like that. It's a headache getting your. I'm gonna just say this here to all the new drivers. Unless you go in knowing where you're going, what you want to do, it is a headache getting in this game. It is a headache, as you can see with Miss Myeshia and what she's went through with some of the was it a mega company?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by mega company meaning they have more than 100 trucks. They have
Definitely.
more and they have fleets that are across the United States. That's what we consider a mega company. So now that you're right there in your experience, tell somebody new, would you do anything different? Do you have
Yeah.
any regrets?
The only thing that I would do different is I would want to probably have a game plan for truck, like a job. I already been on talk to an owner operator that's looking for a driver. Don't care that I'm brand new. They willing to go on the road with me, train me. Like I had a few guys say something like that, but it wasn't in the making. So I
Mhm,
definitely want to tell rookie drivers before you come into this industry, don't come in thinking, oh, I'm about to jump out of this soon, straight out of school, and I'm gonna get this job and everything gonna fall into place because it don't work like that.
mhm. Any regrets?
No regrets about trucking. The only regrets is the game plan.
Okay. All right. Now, this is the next question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years with your CDL? I understand that because you say your son starting his hot shot. We know that may be a plan. But where do you see yourself with your CDL in the next 5 to 10 years?
I probably in the next 5 years is probably when I'm actually. My plan is to not drive over 5 years because at least by 50, I want to be out of the truck. I already know how to dispatch loads, which I was doing at one time.
Okay.
Um, so I hopefully I'll have like a fleet of trucks, more than 4 trucks at least, that I can be running on my own.
Okay.
That's the game.
So how deep are you in the dispatching game?
I had a like I dispatched for maybe like up to 10 drivers before,
Hmm.
and I did it for about 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Cool. That's
hmm
what's up, man. So you don't you don't plan on being in the truck no longer than 5 years.
When I turned, well,
Till you're
I'm just
50.
I turned 44 this year. So 6 years, when I turned my 50th birthday, my
Mhm.
50th birthday, I want to be one of them bosses. I want to be one of them women that have the trucks with the The pictures on the side, and you're like, "Hey, this is my truck." Few
I'm
trucks.
I'm
So,
a, I'm gonna say this here. You can do it. You can make it. But once your experience start rolling and you in there, you're gonna be like, man, I ain't going nowhere. Especially if you got what you're looking for. Like if you on a contract load, running regional, and you still being able to, do dispatching and all of that. But
mm-hmm.
that you're gonna, man, you're gonna be like, bro, I don't want to do nothing else. I'm
So,
telling you. I'm telling you. So I guess to just kind of spring forward,
mm-hmm.
how do you think? Let me ask you this question: how do you think, with you being a rookie driver and looking from the outside in, listening in on conversations and all, how do you think the relationship is between men and women in the trucking industry?
Huh. Well, it's weird because I get good advice from the female truckers, but some of the men, I mean, I get good advice for them as well. But it is
Mhm,
like a love hate relationship. I'm gonna say that. I
mhm,
see some of the men be like, "Girl, you can't do that. Like, that's not for you. That ain't you ain't gonna be able to do that." Like with the flatbed thing, they told me don't even try that. Then I see women on TikTok flatbed
mhm.
and they brag about it. So it's like a love hate relationship right now with the women and the men in the industry.
I just I wish I had it on this side. Uh
Mhm.
it's another it's another young lady that was on TikTok. She just called us Dusty.
Oh yeah, I know. I seen that video.
No, 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 not that one. Not that one.
Another,
It's Yep, it's another one.
I don't
Uh
think it's just
Let
a
me
love hate.
man look here, let me tell you something. I'm like, what's the problem? I'm like, bruh, let me see, because I reposted it. I
Hmm.
reposted it. So let me pull it up real quick. Let me go to my
Okay.
page because I want you to see this. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think that it's important for us to have a good relationship.
Right.
And when you have, oh, it didn't repost. Hold on, let me see. When you have relationships like this, you would have to you have to really be careful about about what you say and how you say it in the industry. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because you don't know how far you can go in this industry with just building good relationships. And that's what I
Right.
want to tell. That's what I want to tell. Oh, by the way, I've dropped the link. We got another about 20 minutes with Myeshia. If you guys have got any questions, I'll bring you up and you can, give a kudos or ask questions or make a statement or whatever. I just dropped a link in the chat. Um, but it just really irked me because I was just kind of like, man, why are people so hard on you know it okay, the video that you seen, right? Let me get your opinion on that. And you don't have to say nothing about it. You don't have to say nobody name or nothing like that. Do you think that was for clicks and views and all of that?
No, I don't think she did it for clicks and views. I think she actually, to me, it seemed like she was giving an honest opinion. That's how she really was feeling at the time, and I think she was more angry than anything. And the way she came off at TikTok and posted the story, she got a lot of heat from it because it's almost like you calling the men dusty, and they not a help and they crabs, but all men are not like that in the industry. I think she just had a bad experience that day and she just went straight for the books. She came immediately on TikTok and posted a good story, and she did get a lot of heat off of it. So
Which
I
she
don't know.
didn't care about.
She did
Which they don't care about. Don't
right.
don't don't let them care anymore about getting any heat from anything, because at the end of the day, like I say, it's all about, it's all to me, it's
Mm-hmm.
all about clicks and views, and
Right.
and getting people on your page to click your video. You know what I mean? And
They feel the
so, right, right. And so from that aspect of it, and I'm trying to find this because I want you to see it.
okay.
I want you to see it. Let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see. Let me go here. I guess it didn't repost. Cause
Hmm.
I did huh?
Maybe they took the video down.
You think they took it down?
If it's too many reposts and it's something that they feel is like gonna bring them more heat, then sometimes they'll take them videos down.
Well, she must have took it down because I don't see it. And I don't even I commented on it on her video, and
Hmm.
I don't even see where. Oh, here it is. Wait a minute. But let me see if I can go into my so that so that you guys can see it and see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And it's not to bring, any static or flag to her. It's just that, I always use that as a point of reference to what I'm saying, and and what I be talking about when it comes to. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna pause it. I just found it. Okay, so let me do
Okay.
this here. I am going to. Then I'm gonna let you get off of here. I know you, because, but I really want to get your your opinion about it.
Okay. Oh, you
Okay,
can. Okay.
so I'm gonna get your opinion about this. Okay, I want you to
Okay.
listen to it. Okay,
I don't hear the volume. You hear it?
you can't hear it.
Uh-uh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me pause it real quick. Let me see. Where's the volume? I don't know why you can't hear it. You should be able to hear it. That one's good. Oh, let me put that one on. I got you. Let me know if you can hear it now.
No,
That's been in the game
it's low.
for 15, 20 plus years. We're not going. Y'all are aging out, which means us younger generation needs to take
Yeah, you got
over
to
in
turn.
this trucking industry. Furthermore,
Can you hear it?
Yeah, but you just got to turn it up some
along
more.
here as well. Y'all be so uptight when you see a female trucker, and then you get to doing dumb shit. I don't have time for that, sir. Furthermore,
Let me start it over because you couldn't hear
you
it.
don't have to respect you
Okay.
old head something. Let me tell you
Yeah. Let
old
me
headed
turn
something. You super truckers, you old heads that's been in the game for 15, 20 plus years.
That's me. 19.
We're not going anywhere. Y'all are aging out, which means us younger generation needs to take over in this trucking industry. Furthermore, females belong here as well. Y'all be so uptight when you see a female trucker, and then you get to doing dumb shit. I don't have time for that, sir. Furthermore, you don't have to respect me, but you will not disrespect me. I said what I said. Let me tell you, old head.
So what you
Wow.
think?
I mean, you know, like she trying to put y'all like the ones that's been trucking for a long time. Like she trying to y'all in a category, like it's time to retire or something, and let them come in and take over.
I, I,
No,
honestly, I don't get it. I don't get
yeah,
it. I run into, I run into, I run into different, uh, I run into different attitudes on TikTok. I'm from men and women.
hmm,
Get that clear. And it's certain attitudes. I judge people on you as an individual and not you as a um you know, not lumping you into one gender, right? And for me, when I hear women saying that, that just tells me that their experience has been bad. Just
right,
like you with the trainer, your experience wasn't bad, but I don't hear in your voice that that made trucking bad for you. You see what I'm
right, no,
saying?
right,
And so that's what I'm hoping that all the young truckers, male or female, whatever you are, that you don't let one bad experience or even two, even three, you don't let that experience, you know what I'm saying, allow you to lump all truck drivers, all male, female, black, white, Mexican, or whatever into one basket or one bucket and say, to hell with you.
right.
Because that dusty 20, 19, 25 year old driver that's been in the industry,
Hmm.
that's the same man with the experience. Maybe not that one, but another one that can get you in the door somewhere.
Yep.
Because those 19, 20, 25 years speak volumes to a company. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to get. That's what I want. That's what I want them to understand. Ain't nobody mad because y'all in this industry. Ain't nobody trying to shut y'all out of the industry. If anything, if I seen somebody trying to deter a female from getting in the trucking, I'll be the first one to say, bro, you wrong.
Hmm.
Or if they're doing something to make you get out of the industry, I say, bro, you wrong. You know what I mean? That's just not the way I operate. And I hate for people to get on and say, "Hey man, hey man, y'all dusty because this happened, that happened." What? Let me ask you a question. What would make you call another that would piss you off so much that would make you call another driver dusty or old or I mean, what would be one scenario that could that short of somebody, you know what I'm saying, assaulting you and trying to take something from you, if you get my drift.
Hmm.
Short of that, what would just kind of piss you off to the point where you call another male, and she's directing it to the males, dusty, old and dusty.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing that would make me call somebody dusty that's old if they're an older truck driver. If we had a truck stop and it's at nighttime and it's minimal parking and you see me struggling to get in that hole, if I move up enough for you to be able to get that hole and you run in there and you jump in and get that hole, then yeah, I'm gonna get out of the truck and I might make me a TikTok video and do a story time. I don't care if he is an old dusty driver, he gonna get it. So a scenario like that, yeah, I'm gonna call him Dusty at that point, because that's what you call dirt bad trucker.
Yeah, yeah,
That's probably the only
yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you because it's a lot of truckers. I'm gonna call you dusty if you blocking the fuel aisle and I'm trying to get out.
Right. You
If
know
I
you
if
got
if I didn't pulled up, if I didn't pulled up, and I don't care who you are, you can be male, female, black, white, Mexican, Chinese, Arab, whatever. If I pull up and I see you get out of your truck, okay, I pull in. I didn't filled up. I'm taking my time. I didn't wash my windows. I didn't even went in there and paid for my fuel and got me something to eat. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't got back in my truck and you not back in your truck. And now I'm sitting here another 10 minutes.
It happens too.
That's 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes that you sat in the front of the fuel aisle and blocked me from going forward. Because nine
Mhm.
times ten, I'm not backing up. Because
Yeah,
when you start backing up, what happens? It
accidents happen.
increases exactly. It increases your risk for an accident. So I'm not
Right.
backing up. And yeah, that'll make me be like, bruh, get your dusty ass on somewhere. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But I mean, it'll take a lot. You know what I'm saying? It'll take a lot. And for us, that's content.
Cause you got some of y'all that'll do y'all 30 minutes at the fuel aisle. We're not gonna speak on it though.
Yeah. And I've told that individual that you're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong. I'm finna put you on Trucker ESPN. You finna be on highlight. I just got an idea. Y'all better not steal that.
Right. Hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna put you on Truckers Highlight ESPN edition. I'm
Right.
serious. So we've been on here an hour, man. I really appreciate you taking out your time on a Sunday. I appreciate you just saying yes to doing the podcast and not being afraid and saying, hey man, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do in order to give my short-lived experience as a CDLA holder and helping somebody else coming into the game. I really appreciate
All right, and I appreciate you for having me. I was ready to get on your show. I told you.
you. And I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came on and gave your experience and talked about it. Now I'm gonna ask you one thing. Sum up in however many words you want your advice, just totally for someone thinking about getting into trucking.
If they're thinking about it, my advice is to go ahead, stop thinking about it. Um, take the steps that you can to go ahead and get into the industry and get all the knowledge you need from all the older truckers, newer truckers. Watch a lot of videos. Don't be scared to get into it. Go ahead and jump in it because once you get past those fears, the trucking industry is not bad at all. And the way the world is going right now, getting into the transportation, I mean, it's gonna get bigger and bigger every year. So my advice is to
Mhm.
just keep going. Like, go ahead and make it happen. Don't keep waiting.
Man, that's some good advice. Jump in it, go get it, and be confident in what you're doing. That's what I heard.
Right?
Say once again, thank you to Miss Myeshia Anderson for jumping in the trap with me tonight, this afternoon, this evening. Uh, I want hold on. Yo Biz said I want to congratulate you for stepping out on faith. That was Miss Yo Biz. She said, congratulations for stepping out on faith. And what I want to say to you is keep pushing, don't give up. Uh uh Trials and tribulations only come to make you stronger. You are going to have an excellent career in trucking, and I do not have a doubt in my mind that you're going to be rolling soon, and you're going to be by yourself, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to have a truck with all of your different gadgets in it. It's
You
going to
know?
be girly, and it's going to be furry.
Yeah.
So, once again, this has been Miss Myeshia Anderson. I want to thank you and have a good night.
All right.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
All right. See y'all
All right.
later.
All right. Bye bye. That was Miss Myeshia Anderson. And I want to, once again, like I said, I want to thank her for jumping in the trap and coming in and having a conversation with me. Next week, Next week, we're gonna have my boy Justin in here. Um, it won't be a live show. It will be pre-recorded. I will drop it. It's going to be pre-recorded, but at the end of the day, it will be a show. And so then after that, we're gonna have Miss Yolanda um of Yo Biz Transportation. She will be in the building. Then we're gonna have a lot more guests. I'm hoping a lot of more, a lot of more, a lot, a lot more um fellas get in, have a conversation, spread your experience, and allow people to hear your story and understand where you came from and why you got in the trucking and why you did your thing. And so um once again, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me on the Freight Trapping Podcast. I have been your host, Mr. James Roberts, and we are gone.